WEF representing Palace, so let's tell you about Palace. Rolling straight to the ceiling, crowns and crystals, top like journeys, dishing out malice. Hold up, South London's grandest, far from bandits. Anything earned for a goal of elevation, just passing the team over here might finish out. Bright future, we can't vanish. SE25 any day, that's sellers. Rev up the engines, no more reverse reactions. Fan cams, bands on stream. Share up the team, support the dream team when eagles fly, make noise and scheme. Dare to dream or dream to dare, taking a step to become supreme. WEF representing Palace, so let's tell you about Palace. Rolling straight to the ceiling, crowns and crystals, top like journeys, dishing out malice. Hold up, South London's grandest, far from bandits. Anything earned for a goal of elevation, just passing the team over here might finish out. Bright future, we can't vanish.
Hello everyone. Where did you go?
I don't know.
Because for me, when I was setting up this stream, it was really laggy earlier, and it seemed a bit laggy when I come on now. And then I just noticed that it just froze for 5 or 6 seconds, and then you just disappeared.
I mean, I was doing a full intro, and then I saw you was stuck, and I was thinking, something's not right here. So I refreshed, and now I'm back. So, yes, guys, welcome back to Eagle-Eyed Football, and welcome back to another episode of TACT-EAGLE. Today is for our game for Doncaster on Monday, away from home. Dan, how's it going, and how are you getting home from this game?
I will be getting the last train. So if it does go to extra time, I won't be seeing the rest of the game. So yeah, to be honest, it was on my list to do, and I thought, I don't have to be up too early on the Tuesday, so I thought, why not? And also, actually, to be fair, it wasn't as expensive the train ticket as I thought. I think it only ended up costing me about 40 quid, and then it was a relatively cheap match ticket as well. It was only 15 quid, so yeah, so
not too bad.
But yeah. But I'm looking forward to it. It'll be another ground for me to tick off. But yeah, no. But other than that, yeah, I'm all good. How are you?
Yeah, all good. I would have loved to have gone, but the day is dreadful. Why couldn't they pick a Saturday or a Sunday?
I think,
and also the fact I've already been there once before to see us playing the FA Cup. I don't see any need to go out of my way to, do it again.
Yeah, and I think as well, so I had a look at the tickets that were sold yesterday. I know we sold 3 blocks, kind of half sold a couple, the ones either side of it. And to as I said, I'm not surprised. I think also as well, people just got the hump. I very nearly just didn't even bother because I was like, you know what, F the FA, ironically, and just
the FA do FA.
Well, they do, and it's just contempt for match going fans. It would have been a Saturday kickoff. Okay, I think we would have sold that out. So not only would we benefit that, Doncaster would benefit that because I don't think they sell out most of their games. So, or if any of their games, so that would have been a good bit of money for them as well. And instead, and we're not even on TV, we're on iPlayer. That doesn't even, how ridiculous. Yeah, I mean, it's, yeah. But anyways, without me ranting too much.
Or I think the perfect way to describe it is what it is, and we'll just get on with it. But before we actually get into it, I want to thank everyone for tuning in yesterday. Probably some of our biggest viewing figures. I think that stream's already got over 1,000 views. So thank everyone for tuning in. And if you want some more content like that, where it's, a little bit more structured, we've got a few different talking points, let's say, then definitely leave some comments on that video to show your support so we can look to hopefully getting on other guests or maybe get Bobby on again. You never know. But it is TACT-EAGLE time, and I haven't prepared the videos, so I'm going to get this wrong. Let's go into the predicted 11. I've absolutely smashed that, by the way.
I didn't even. There must be something wrong with like the way I'm like on this, because I didn't even see that. Like, it literally just said you've been muted, and then nothing happened.
Something's gone wrong.
That's weird. But anyway,
yeah. You know what we're gonna do, Dan? We're gonna talk about injuries. So, going to look at some injuries. Shadi Riyad, Chet Decore, Mateus França, who is currently training with the first team, but supposedly going to be getting game time in the under-21s, and Joe Ward is injured as well. Looking at Doncaster, obviously we don't have preminjuries.com to go off of, so I found on Transfermarkt they said no injuries whatsoever to their squad. Transfermarkt don't get injuries correct all the time, because they have said that some of our players haven't been injured, but they're literally injured right now. So I wouldn't take that what they say into account. But they do have a certain Billy Sharp and Jay McGrath, who are 1 yellow away from a suspension. Do the cards transfer from the FA Cup into the league, or is it completely separate in the FA Cup?
I can't remember, because I feel like they changed the rules. Tell you what, let me just Google that. Do league yellows carry to FA? Because they used to, but they're not anymore, apparently, according to PremierLeague.com. And I assume that'll be the same for the EFL as well. So yellow cards are not carried over to EFL Cup or FA Cup. But it used to be. So yeah, I think that was a change.
Cool. Going into the comments quickly.
I was going to say, actually, one thing to point out then as well with those 2 yellows, potential bans. Oh no, sorry, ignore me because it's not relevant. Sorry.
So you just debunked my question and started answering it.
Yeah. Well, I was gonna say they've got a game tomorrow, but then obviously that doesn't matter, does it? Because they wouldn't have a ban anyway. So
no.
Yeah. Anyway.
Big up the dogs. Said, how are we doing?
Big up.
We can't rotate against Doncaster. Rob Street is a threat. He scored a really nice goal against MK Dons, actually. I can't lie. Very nice goal. Big up chairman. When Tim said pagan, that was brilliant. You changed the title from preview to TACT-EAGLE. You bottled it. Just checked you're doing a preview on Friday. Never mind. Yeah, get your facts straight before you open your mouth. Sean says Wharton, Nketiah, França, SA will start. Big up Animal. Big up Millsy. Big up Michael. So start Deveni, Nketiah, Eze, SA, Kamada, and Chilwell. Well, let's get into what I think will start this game. In goal, got Matt Turner. With Ben Chilwell getting his first start in the Palace team. I will caveat this and say he's only going to play up to halftime. And then I bring on Klein in the second half. Not Klein. I bring on what's his name? I put Klein on the left and I put Kapora at the right if I was going to do that. Or you put on Franco Ume. Or has he gone out on loan? He didn't go out on loan, did he? No, he did. He went to St Mirren. I think he's at St Mirren now.
Good question.
But yeah, Chilwell, he's only playing 45 minutes with Gay, Lacroix, Richards, and Klein on the right. You might think you've gone really strong there. One, Glasner's gone very strong in every single game in the cup competition he's ever played for us. And two, you've got Monday until Sunday until our next fixture. So it's pretty much a whole week's rest anyway, like a normal game week. So I don't feel like he would rest anyone in that case, really. But it's a perfect opportunity to get Chilwell some minutes, get Klein some minutes, and maybe get Kapora some more minutes as well. Perfect opportunity to start and only play him 45 minutes as well. So in the second half, I'd bring on Hughes or Tamada or something there, partnered with Lerma. Up front, I've gone with Deveni on the left, Nketiah through the middle, and Romain Esse on the right. Dan, do you agree? Do you disagree? What would you change?
Yeah, I mean, I think with Glasner, it's an interesting one because I think he's got no reason to rest anyone because, like you said, like there's a week between our league games. You know, I mean, obviously, if we were playing a strong team and he got injured, then obviously that looks a bit bad on Glasner. But then he did put out very strong sides against QPR, Norwich,
Stockport.
Stockport as well.
We look rubbish against Stockport with a full team.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, in an ideal world, I would like to see some of the new players get some runs out. Those players on the on that pitch there right now, definitely, I would like to see get a run out. Nketiah just for his confidence. Hopefully, he can get a goal. SA obviously would love to see that. He seemed really obviously scored on his debut. I feel like if he plays and starts this game, I feel like he's probably going to score again. I just feel like he'll give it everything. And obviously, yeah, Chilwell on the left hand side. I think he played an EFL Cup game this season.
45 minutes.
45 minutes, yeah. So obviously he needs to get match fit. And I think this would be the perfect game for him to do that. Just because I just saw a comment about França in the here from Michael. França will be playing the under-21, so he won't even be in the squad for this game. But yeah, no, I agree with that side.
Mm-hmm. Going on to Doncaster. So Doncaster I think they're second currently in the League Two, but they're only 2 points ahead of third place, but they have played a game more. So third place win, they'll go down to third. But this could be a game where they might not care too much about it because they are on that title push. And yes, you can go through the playoffs, but I'm sure every team up there wants to get it automatic promotion so they don't have to play all those extra games. Do you feel like I don't know. Do you think they're going to go? I mean, I wouldn't say are they going to try in this game because obviously they're going to try as a Premier League team. They're going to run their hearts out. But do you think they'd be upset if they didn't go through so that they could focus on getting that promotion back into League One?
I mean, no, not really. I mean, for a League Two side to get to this round anyway is a very solid showing. Obviously, they beat Hull in the last round. Well, they won on penalties, so they've beaten a Championship side en route to this point. Obviously, they're not going to say no to a win, but we've already alluded to it already. But they got a game tomorrow. They've then got a game on Monday. Obviously, that's against us, and then they've then got a game at 12:30 on the Saturday. So, they've got 3 games in 10 days. And like you just said, they are 2 points on third. And then in fourth place, which is when the playoff starts, are only 4 points behind that. But the team who are fourth, which I think is actually AFC Wimbledon, they've got 2 games in hand over Doncaster, I believe. And that 8 points off eighth, which is no playoffs.
I'm pretty sure that second to sixth is only 4 points difference between them as well.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. So it's very tight in that table. And obviously, if you go on a bad run at that point, that's, you could even, I said it's 8 points. like drop 8 points and all the teams make up 8 points on you, then they'll be out the playoff spots. And and again, and all of that together, like I think there is an argument to say that, you know, maybe they won't necessarily go full strength themselves.
Mm-hmm. But this starting 11 that I've got here, let's go through it. So they do play a 4-2-3-1, but they play it instead of it being like this, where you normally have 3 10s here. They play more like this. I guess like a 4-2-1-3 with a single 10 and then like 3 up front, but you got 2 wingers. They got Sharman Lowe in goal, Maxwell, McGrath, Olawu, Sterry on the right back, with Crew and Bailey as the pivot, with Kelly as the sole 10, Molyneux, Ennis, and Ironside up front. They've fielded the same exact starting 11 in the last 6 games in a row. So they must have found a formula that's worked for them, and the manager said, well, why would you change a winning team? And just stuck with it, really. And also on the bench, Rob Street, who was one of our youth players, you know, we thought that he might have got a run in the team, but he just never made it, unfortunately. But luckily for him, it seems like he's making a good career for himself, you know, fighting for promotion back into League One. So he's not having an awful career. Like, he's still playing football as a job. So that's the dream for anyone, really, isn't it?
Absolutely. And he's still only 23 as well.
Yeah. And like, I think Malachi Boateng's now playing in the Championship. So people that we have let go are making good careers for themselves still. Billy Sharp, everyone knows Billy Sharp. Good goal scorer. He's just 39 now. Just getting to the end of it a little bit. But still, I'm sure if you put him in front of goal with a ball at his feet, I'm sure he'll probably be able to put it away, even still now. Broadbent, Gibson, and Clifton. Now, why have I put all those 5 subs there? Because those are the same 5 subs that have come on every single one of those last 5 games that the same starting 11's been. All 5 of those players have come on every single game, every time. So he's got a very distinct switch from the first minute to like 60, 70. And then after that, they make a mass, like they make subs, and then they basically change their whole team pretty much. They go from 1 up front to 2 up front, which is quite interesting, actually. And you're thinking, oh, even when they're losing, yeah, even when they are losing to gain a goal, they'll put 2 up front. If they are winning, they will still put 2 up front to try and go and get that extra goal, which just shows how their manager wants to play, really. And yes, that is delving a little bit into the attack, but I think it's very interesting that he makes those 5 players coming on every game, and it's a complete formation change after the 70th minute, let's say.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Let me go into the attack. Any questions on that, really, Dan, or does it more make sense?
No, that's what I thought too, to be honest.
Start Deveni, Nketiah, SA, Kamada, Chilwell. Is SA cup tied?
I don't think so, because I think the thing was Millwall did play a game as we were signing him, but he didn't play.
França won't start. No. França and Malcolm as both of the 10s. You can get out of your dream, wild dog. Ume went out on loan. JC, I typed. I didn't speak. Get your facts straight. Oh, sorry.
Sorry.
Lerma and Deveni as the CMs give Wharton 45 in the second half. Give Klein some practice at right centre back just in case of injury. Michael, the dog loves Malcolm. No matter how much we say you need to stop, he does not stop. I think Glasgow will go strong to try and get the game won before making some changes for the likes of Chilwell, SA and Wharton, etc. Yeah, I can see that as well.
Yeah.
On the bench, is that Billy Sharp? Yep. And Harry
The
Clifton.
one and only.
Harry, he's as Dan said a few streams ago when we was talking about who was we actually talking about? He was calling him a dribbly boy or something like that, a dribbly player. He's very good at dribbling, Harry Clifton.
Okay.
Durfez here says we need to beat Doncaster. I don't think we need to, but it'll be nice.
Well, I mean, come on, they're League Two, really.
Yeah,
I mean,
but
if we don't beat them, there are a lot of question marks.
like I said, whenever Palace is playing, always prepare for failure and be happy for success. But when I went there to Doncaster, I saw a legendary moment, Dan. I saw Max Meyer score. I saw Max Meyer score a goal. And I saw Batshuayi fall over the advertising board. I can't tell you which one I celebrated more, but you know.
Max Meyer, that's got to be that's a collector's item, that is.
Mate, unreal. It was a dead goal as well, but let's do the attack. So, one thing that I do, obviously, they're not, it's League Two, and there's no disrespect to a League Two club, but there's a simple fact of they're not that tactically amazing, let's say. So, most of it is just they've got good players, they're in good form, that's why they're like high up in the league right now. And they've got consistency on their side. They've got a formula that works against opposition around their skill level. But I think from both my side and Dan's side, I think we'll say this first, that we're going to talk about what they do well. But even though they do that well, I still don't think that most of what they do isn't going to be good enough to get past the quality of our defenders. So even though we say, oh, they'll pass the ball around good, they're quite fast, you know, they're good at passing into the box, most likely that won't be the case against us, just because it's just a complete, like, we're 3 leagues above them in terms of quality. So this is not me saying that, oh, they're rubbish, you know, they do some good things, but it won't affect us at all. Of course, that, like, we've seen Cambridge beat bloody Newcastle a few years ago. So it's not impossible for them to beat us, but I do feel like we've got the quality in our team to almost nullify most of what they can do well tactically. But we'll still go into it anyway and talk about it. Their main thing for me is probably how they press. It's quite an interesting press. They press like how quite a few Premier League teams do. And that's because they press in a very much 4-4-2 kind of way.
Yeah, I noticed that as well from the highlights.
Oh, yeah. Thank you for reminding me, Dan. Because you can't find any game footage, I don't know if Dan was the same, but I became a highlight merchant. So this what I'm talking about now is literally just what I saw off the MK Dons highlights. So Dan probably knows exactly what I'm going to say.
Yeah, because I think you can probably get full 90s, but you'd have to go on their website and like pay for it.
Yeah, become a member.
I'm not prepared to do that. So yeah,
I don't want to get spam emails from Doncaster. I'll say that. But let's put this into context a little bit. So they were playing against a back 4 with a single 6, and then they had like guys up the pitch, opposition guys up the pitch, ready for them to go long. But what the keeper did was they tried to play the ball straight into their 6. So in our case, it'll be Adam Wharton here. But instead of these people man marking these people, they actually stood off a little bit. So they were sort of in the middle of both of these players. So if the ball got put over the top, they are close enough to react. But also if the ball gets played here, both of them are able to converge here. And basically what happened was their keeper tried to roll it to their 6, but the pass back was so slow that basically both of these players could get in front of the 6, and I think it was Kelly, I believe, who literally nicked the ball from their 6 and had a shot into the near post and scored down here. So when you try and play out from the back, they will press you very high. But like I said, are they going to do this against a Premier League team that could probably play through that press? I don't know. Nottingham Forest fans say that Matt Turner's awful with his feet, so we'll probably go long. Which, to be fair, with Matt Turner, I'm not mad at. I'm really not. That's what I would do, just to completely counteract the fact that they could dispossess us and, you know, turn the ball over pretty easily. They play a very high line, which I don't think they'll do against us, but it does help them because they play with fullbacks, but they are quite interesting fullbacks, I would say. So if we put their team sort of back to how they would play at the 10, him through the middle. Also, I don't think they actually have any free at the back teams down there. I had a quick look through, but I didn't find any of them. I know that
Not
Stockport
really,
play
no.
it, but they're in the league above though, so sort of you get a bit more tactically aware the higher up the leagues you go. But against a 5-back, I feel like their tactics are a little bit flawed. But I'll explain it for a 4-back, and then I'll explain to you how we could nullify it through our 5-back. So their fullbacks are quite interesting because they will aid in the attack on both sides. Obviously, both of them won't go at the same time because that's suicide. But let's say the ball's going down this left-hand side. The winger in Ennis here, their main job is to run the touchline from all the way back here when defending, all the way up here when attacking. And they will stay as wide as possible for as long as possible. But what's interesting is that the fullback, they'll run up down the outside, you know, about, I don't know, halfway into our half, let's say. But then the second they get here, they do something very interesting, something that Daniel Munoz actually does, but they do it on both sides. Instead of going here and then going straight around the outside or underlapping like this and then creating a run through here, what they'll do is when they get to this situation here, they will then start to beeline straight towards the goal. So you'll see times where if the winger's one-on-one with a fullback and they try and get an extra yard and they'll pull the ball back, you'll be seeing three people in their box. You're thinking, well, how the hell have they done that? They've still got 6 people back. How have they got 3 in the box? But it's because the fullback will make that dart and run on the inside to add another body into the box, which, you know, most people are like, how the hell is your fullback there? But Daniel Munoz does exactly this, basically. But how Munoz does it is he runs down the wing, but they actually run straight towards the goal. And I don't know about you, but if you're a striker and the ball gets pulled across the box, you run straight into the net whether you get the ball or not, because that's where you're trying to score. So it's quite interesting that they use their fullbacks in this way. Obviously, if the ball gets turned over, you know, you got all that space to run into. So they do this a lot in their league. Are they going to do this against us? I don't know. Maybe it'll be an interesting game if they do. Other things, Prue and Bailey are quite good with their feet. As oh no, one sec. Let me explain why this wouldn't really work against us. Well, if we had a 5-back, basically, when they actually go to make that run straight into space, there's just going to be too many bodies in this area. It's going to be very congested. So I don't really think
Too many man.
There's too many man.
If anyone gets that, write that in the chat.
Am I showing my age? But yeah, there's too many people there. It's just not going to work. Unless they can thread a 1 in a million ball and it's an amazing goal, I rate it. But other than that, don't think it's going to be too hard to deal with. I don't know whether this would be more of a Dan thing, but I'll say it anyway. They really like playing against teams with high lines. Like it's the turnover and the fact that they do what we do with Saar basically. Basically, this guy's quick and Bailey's very good at passing. So you'll see a time where if they intercept the ball, Bailey will just hit it into a space over here, and then they'll just let Molyneux go on a running race with whoever the fullback is. Like, obviously, this could be a horrible situation for Chilwell because of his injuries and his fitness, but there's no reason why Mark couldn't follow and cover.
He seemed like a bit of a danger man, that Molyneux, as well, because he's a top goal scorer in the league this season.
He's very good at shooting on target, which is something that most wingers, even in the Premier League, can't do. And he's one of those guys where he will stick to the touchline as much as possible, but if the ball is on the opposite side, he will then start to drift in the box. So when the fullback does their darting run here on the other side, he will sort of come close here on the opposite side as well. So he's quite an interesting player and quite a good player as well, actually. So probably one to look out for that we actually deal with properly. Because if we underestimate him, there's no reason why he couldn't, I guess, pull a wall over our eyes. Their formation change in the second half is interesting as well. So Ironside normally stays on. Kelly, who's normally quite a good player, he's normally one of their better players as well. He comes off, depending on if Sharp is fit enough to play, he'll come on. But in this case, I wouldn't play. I'm not going to put him in. But you'll see Ironside, Street there, and then Crew comes off. Clifton goes in there, but he sort of becomes, I don't know, a little bit more advanced midfielder there, and then Gibson and Broadbent, they're just sort of like other people to build up the numbers in the squad for whoever really gets tired. But then they sort of look like this, a 4-2-4, which is quite interesting when they're going forwards because they've got a lot of options there. And we know that Rob Street, even in the under-21s, he was very good at just running into space, pulling out wide and getting space and running inside. He was always a good player in the youth team, just wasn't ever Premier League quality, but very good at this level. And with a little bit of confidence, there's no reason why he couldn't score a goal against us, let's say. But the thing with why this formation's good is because these guys stay so wide, if the ball gets turned over, all they have to do is tuck in a little bit, and they're back in their 4-4-2 formation where they can reinitiate their counter press. So how to defend against them, I do think that our formation flat out just counters them a little bit. Just the fact that we pack out the midfield so much, and they're a team that don't really cross too much as well, which is kind of unheard of in that league. But because of that, and I think the way that they try and play the ball through the lines, I don't think they're going to be able to come off against us, really. And, I feel like that will be the best way for us to defend. Just stay compact. Don't give them too much space to run in behind, and I feel like it will be okay. But like I said, if they score, I'm not surprised because we seem to play rubbish against other teams. Stockport, rubbish. Norwich, even though we beat them 4-0, we were rubbish.
QPR, that was a bad game.
QPR, I still don't understand how we won that game because they should have scored a few goals towards the end of that game.
Yeah, they should have.
And
they've been quite good actually this season.
Yeah, they just didn't finish their dinner. But I got no idea how Nketiah scored that goal against them. I still don't know.
It's a great. I remember it being a good finish, but I can't.
He was sort of like
he just lashed it, didn't he?
Yeah, I think it was one of those ones where the goalkeeper was just caught off guard because he was literally running sort of outside of the 6-yard box towards the touchline, and he just sort of smashed it into an area and it went in. So I went sick. But yeah, any questions about that really, Dan? Or
not really? Yeah, I mean the only remarks really, was similar to what you said. Like they seem like a team that want to. They seem a bit out of character for a League Two team. I think like they do seem to want to build a lot more than perhaps other sides you get down there.
And also, I think it's a good thing to say that because they are a League Two team, they're going to fight for absolutely every ball. So the intensity in the first half an hour is going to be off the scale. But if we can just weather the storm, they'll probably get tired.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Going into some comments. We're away from home, guys. Come on, we're unstoppable on the road. But this is the kind of team that would stop us. I'll just say that now. Palace mustn't take it easy against Doncaster. 100%. We need to respect our opponent, and if we want to come out of there victorious, we have to put the work in. Michael, what's your word, you pagan? Kapora will start. This is his only chance. Yeah, Kapora could start instead of Klein. I know. There's no reason why he couldn't.
Yeah, maybe he plays Klein on the left and then brings on Chilwell, or vice versa, perhaps. Yeah. Or Jeffrey. Oh wait. Oh,
did you know that Celtic aren't even paying all his wages? They're only paying half.
They're paying half. Yeah. I did see that. Yeah.
Because if they paid his whole wages, he'd be the highest paid player at Celtic.
Did he really?
Yeah.
Jesus.
Or he'd be joint with the Japanese guy, Kyogo, I think his name is. He's a good player, good striker, actually.
Yeah.
Big up Alex says, "Oh my god, a TACT-EAGLE based on highlights package. I've seen it all."
So I didn't fancy signing up to Rovers Plus TV. So
Rovers Plus. That sounds a bit dodgy.
That's what it's called on their website.
Is Chilwell fit enough? He's not injured. And he has been training, so I'd assume so. Chili Waffles is fit, I think. Did you see in his in his hello video? He said, "Hey guys, Chili here." I was like, "Ugh, who's Chili?"
Chelsea have done irreversible damage to him.
He's woke now.
Woke.
you know what's funny? Rihanna said two things. She said, one, he looks like Steve Parrish. Like, you know when
he does a bit, doesn't he? It's because of the haircut, that's why. And
two, she said he shouldn't be a footballer, he should be on Love Island. Okay. Loads of comments, guys. Thank you very much for just sort of fly through. Mitch needs rest. Is he on to Palace only paying 70 grand a week, so we ain't paying nowhere near that. I believe this is a grime music from 16 years ago. Big up Elliot, which is why I think Mitchell has to play here. Lacroix has Ironside in his pocket. Easy. Too modern for me. Chairman says 1-0 Newcastle.
It got given offside.
Yeah, VAR's offside. All right, let's do the defense.
Right, so I'm not going to be very long on this because, as you could imagine, I don't know what their low block is like when it's when I'm watching highlights. So I'm not going to pretend.
I'll give you a hint. It's very close to 6 at the back.
Yeah, I mean, what can I say really? The only things I will say are that actually they're not very. I'm not going to say they're not good at defending, but they do seem to leak more goals than someone who is second in the table would. So they actually rank 11th in goals against in League Two this season, which is okay. But in the 29 games they've played, they've only kept 7 clean sheets. So, if we're not scoring here, some serious questions need to be asked. Now, actually, interestingly, and this is something I don't normally like doing, but using SofaScore player ratings, I'm not a fan of those things because, but just as a general idea, their 2 highest rated players, actually, funnily enough, were their centre backs, Oluwu and McGrath. So yeah, so they're obviously very, very decent players. Now, yeah, well, I mean, looking at the way that they set up on SofaScore, and I had a look at their heat maps as well. But obviously, when they are in a low block, which let's be honest, they probably will be for a fair portion of the game, or at least more than they're currently used to. Ignore the players I've got on the pitch, by the way. I didn't change it from the United game last week, so just ignore it. Obviously, I know Eze's not going to play. What I would imagine will happen will that be that in a low block, they'll have their players here. I'm sure they'll pack out the middle. And I know JC's just said that it's like a 6 at the back. I'm guessing JC, is it?
Yeah.
I didn't see it to Molyneux and Ennis just kind of drop into a back 6.
Pretty much, yeah.
Yeah, so it's very similar to like how something that like Villa do quite a lot. So I'm sure what they would like to do as well is that they want to force us out wide. So they want to make sure that they try and get these overloads where they can, these defensive overloads. So if Tyreek Mitchell's got the ball here, make sure they're kind of doubling up and either force him down the wing or force him to recycle the ball. And then hopefully by the time that, a pass is made to this side of the pitch, then, then they're able to shuffle over a bit and then just restart and go again. Yeah, that's about it. The only other notable things, which JC's already talked about, is their high press, which obviously it looked like to me that it was a kind of press that they looked to turn over the ball. So I would say it's more of an attacking type thing rather than, I don't want to say defensive because I guess it's not really defensive, but they don't do it to try and keep possession, which would obviously then mean that they don't really concede. But there were some things I did notice. I feel like they're not very good at set pieces. All the highlights I watched, pretty much every opposing team, they, from a corner, they seemed a bit all over the place, really. Like, I'm not going to set them all up, but like at one point they had all their players in the box here, and the ball just went all the way and just dropped like here, and then the other team managed to score. And a couple of times where I guess I'm guessing they must play with a high line because they also play with a high line at free kicks as well. So obviously, if they've got a high line, that's good for our players because we like playing teams with that high line, and especially if they've got if we've got a free kick, and they do actually commit a lot of fouls as well. They actually commit the 5th most fouls in League 2 this season. So if they're committing a lot of fouls, we're going to get a lot of opportunities to do this as well. And obviously if we've got this high line here, we've got all this space to work in. If we take a free kick into there. Only other things I really notice is that their centre backs, when they are, so let's say we have managed to generate like some sort of transition because I don't know, maybe they've got on a corner or maybe they've got, they've managed to attack, they've flooded forward and they've done this and that. One thing I did notice was that their centre backs get pulled apart very easily. Well, not easily, but in a particular chance I saw. So, for example, the striker went on here, a bit deeper than this. The striker pinned themselves to one of the defenders. Now, because of the way that they defend, it seems like they will mark man to man. So all the striker did was basically move out of there. Actually, it was more like here sort of thing. And then what that allowed was the gap to open up here for then, because I think the ball was like over here. All the striker did was move over, open up this space here. These players were kind of aware of this deep run coming in, but they didn't really track it very well. So, this player just basically ran in kind of unimpeded, and then they were past the ball here. And then obviously then they had a very good opportunity, which I think was saved. But yeah, I mean, besides that, the only other notable things I suppose is that they are a League Two side, so they're probably going to be a bit more physical, probably a bit more better in the air. But you know, I don't really know enough to categorically say if they are more physical or not. But obviously, we're probably going to play our second string team. They might not necessarily be as physical as us. But then equally, I'm not really convinced that they're going to necessarily play their strongest team either. So there is that. But that's about it, really. There's not really a lot to say. If we just play the way we normally play, we'll score goals. That's I think that's pretty much a fact, really.
It's quite the set piece thing is quite interesting as well, because obviously from the past few years we've been rubbish at set pieces, but we seem to be pretty good at them now, and we seem to score pretty regularly from them now. So this could be one of those games where we only score from set pieces, and it's just a pretty dreary game. But if you get the win, you get the win. You go through. Who cares?
Yeah,
knockout football.
Absolutely. I mean, end of the day, all you want is to go into the next round. We'll be in the 5th round, which is that. No, that's the round of 16, isn't it? I think the 5th round. So after that is
sure.
So we're going into the. Let me have a quick look. I can't remember now.
But what I was saying to Chairman actually, and I want to know if you agree with me, Dan.
Go on.
I feel like how Glasner sets us up away from home and how our play style very much suits the away from home kind of game. I feel like our formation and how we play is very suited to knockout football as well. It's the kind of game you want to play if you're trying to win a tournament, if you're trying to go through knockout stages.
No, absolutely. I think I said this before a while ago, but I mean, well, obviously, firstly, Glasser's got credentials. Like, let me check what his. So I know, obviously, he won the Europa League with Frankfurt, which is I believe their only
major trophy.
Yeah,
I think he's won the Austrian League a few times, hasn't he?
Not the Austrian League. According to Wiki, he's won the Austrian Cup twice. But he also came runner-up in the DFB Pokal as well, which is Germany's equivalent of the FA Cup. And just to see, Frankfurt have. I know they've won it a few times, but it is. I know they've won. Wait, what? Oh no, they have won a European trophy before as well, but it was the UEFA Cup in 79-80. But and also I think the reason for me thinking that as well is because I think the way that we're playing at the moment, all our games are all very close. Like, we never really seem to, whilst we're never out of games, like, I think we've only lost by more than one goal, twice this season, I think. And one of them was Fulham when we had about 40 injuries.
And the other was Arsenal.
And the other was Arsenal when, to be fair, I don't think we deserve to lose 5-1. So, and even then, and even on the flip side, like, we very rarely batter teams either. So, like, obviously we've played like Ipswich, Southampton, teams at the bottom. Yeah, Man United, teams at the bottom of the table, and Spurs as well.
Hey,
and I mean, we haven't really battered them, but I think the reason for that is that we kind of level the playing field, sometimes to our detriment, sometimes to our gain, and then that means that not we're relying on quality, but I think we are being coached to, do the right things to just nick that goal. And then we're also the equivalent. And on the flip side of that, I think we are a very difficult team to beat. I mean, we've conceded the fewest away goals in the Premier League this season. So, that's an excellent feat. I think he's made it very difficult for teams to beat us. And obviously, if we're difficult to beat, then we are. Hey, if we do nick a goal, then we obviously got a lot more chance of winning.
Yeah, we're good at holding on to it.
Yeah, and obviously with knockout football as well, then you've also then got extra time, penalties, and so on and so forth. So it's you either win or you either win or lose. You can't draw. So yeah, no, I agree. I do think he is suited to it, and obviously we've already seen that with Palace so far as well. Got to a quarterfinals in the Carabao, which is the first time we've done that in I think.
Yeah, we beat Villa on our way there as well, and you know how good they're playing.
Yeah, exactly. And I think last time we got to the quarters was when we played Cardiff in the semi-finals. So yeah.
Durfez says, to be fair, the Fulham game we lost Camardinho. I like how Camardinho is sticking. I think that's quite a good one.
Camardinho. To be fair to him as well, I think that was like the breaking point for him. I think that was like it can't really get any. It can't really get any worse at the moment. Well, I suppose it could. You could be Rob Holding, but
hey, a zing.
But, yeah.
Finally, Dan, we're gonna do score predictions.
Okay.
And as always, the host has to throw himself under the bus. I'm gonna go 2-0 Palace.
Oh, I was gonna go 2-0 Palace.
Oh, you should have went first.
Okay, I'll go 3-1 Palace then. Same deficit, but
you think they'll score against us?
No.
Well, just say 2-0.
Well, I'm not going to jinx it. So
oh, yeah,
if I went 3-0, that's yeah.
All right, cool. Dan, is there anything else you want to say before we round out on this stream?
Just the only thing I do want to talk is I don't want Newcastle to win because I don't want that game to be moved to a Wednesday night. So I want to go to that game. So
which one?
The Newcastle one.
Yeah, I want to go there as well.
St. Patrick's
I haven't
Day,
actually been
Saturday,
there.
3:00 kickoff. I've never been there either. But of course, Arsenal are losing. But I can't believe we've managed to talk nearly about 50 over 50 minutes.
To be fair, we're mostly talking about us.
Yeah, that is true.
Anyway, stay humble.
Stay humble.
Arsenal fans, stay humble. You know what's funny about that? The reaction from Arsenal fans is probably the exact reason why Haaland said stay humble.
Yeah,
because they're just playing into his hands even more. It's hilarious.
Oh yeah, it's crazy. I mean, yeah. I mean, I thought it was a funny bit of
banter.
Banter, yeah, that was the word. I definitely wasn't going to say a swear word then. Yeah, and I think it just should be left at that, really. But
finally,
thank you. Mate. Thank you, Hayward.
I see what you're doing there, and that's another one of those commenters.
Wait, so I didn't see the full name. Oh God!
Thank you.
Thank you.
It was a very nice stream, and I'm glad you enjoyed it. I know who it is. You're a waste man. Anyway, guys, thank you very much for watching. We have chatted nonsense about Doncaster for nearly an hour, so I think that deserves a like. Shameless. Up the Palace, I guess.
Up the Palace.
E-girls.
E-girls indeed.